Avi Yemeni is a journalist for Rebel News, which is basically one of the last bastions of real journalism, especially in Canada and Australia. In any case, Avi was covering anti-lockdown protests in Melbourne. He spent some time covering just how totalitarian Melbourne has become. It's a city in the state of Victoria. It's a city that I've actually covered before in another video. In any case, just organising an anti-lockdown protest is now fraught with problems in Australia. For example, just recently it was publicised that a pregnant woman was arrested in front of her children for organising a protest on Facebook. They charged her with incitement, whatever that is. That's how incredibly authoritarian this place has become under the guise of fighting the virus, or whatever. Also, it was within just the last week, an elderly woman was arrested on a park bench for not wearing a mask. It's these ridiculous extremes that they're going to, which is just disgusting. And now, in Melbourne, they're going after the press as kind of like the next step because people won't stand up together. Enough of them won't stand up together. Well, Avi Yemeni decided to go to one of these protests, and while on the way, he was stopped. They requested his permit, just a random traffic stop. Show me your papers please, you couldn't make it up. And then he was harassed by these police officers for having 3 people in the car, and they weren't from the same household. You know, like that was something, everyone should be aghast or something. So they had to show their permits. Seriously, all 3 of these adults had to show their permits to be out of their houses. Avi had requested special permission, a special work permit, for the fact that he was going out to do journalism. The permit even had to include exactly where he was going to practice the journalism, the route that he was going to take. And then he finally got to this anti-lockdown protest, and he was arrested in the middle of reporting. He was talking to the camera, you know, with the microphone in hand, in the middle of talking, and he was arrested. When the cop comes up to him and tells him he's going to be arrested, you'll notice in the clip that I'm going to show in a second that Avi laughs at first because he thinks the cop has to be joking that things can't be this bad. Take a look.
It was quite peaceful until...
This bloke here is not here for any purpose of reason. Avi, let's go! Put him under arrest. But this guy here is going to be placed under arrest right now.
Well, I'm under arrest. Yeah, I'm media. I am media. I'm media. I've got my permit in my pocket. My permit is in my pocket. I'm fine.
You heard Avi yelling, "I've got my permit in my pocket." And if that just doesn't sum up everything that's wrong with this whole picture, I mean, I don't know what does. You shouldn't need a permit to travel. You shouldn't need a permit to practice journalism. You shouldn't need a permit to engage in a protest or a permit to be around other people. I mean, people are supposed to have rights. He was then told that he had to leave the event, otherwise he'd be arrested again. You see, they let him go because some officer that specialized for dealing with the press decided that he could be told he could leave instead of actually, you know, being charged. Later on that night, police showed up at his house to essentially further intimidate him. Apparently even the mainstream media were threatened with arrest on that day. None of them were thrown to the ground quite like Avi was, but the threats against the press are spreading. Because again, not enough people are speaking up, and this actually goes for not just Australia, but Canada and Britain, the United States to some degree. I mean, how long will it be in some of these countries like Canada and Australia and the UK before police start welding doors closed like happened in China? How much will the police state have to spread? How authoritarian do you think it will have to be? I mean, seriously, there isn't a point at which people should be speaking up, should be willing to fight back. And at the point where you can't even organize a protest against those authoritarian regimes, surely that should be like some indicator that now is the time to start fighting back. Wait, if you enjoyed that video, please remember to like and share. I can't grow without you. Also, if you want to be reliably notified of new videos, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. If you're able to support the production of these videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe at Subscribestar, or maybe get one of the healthier products, or even get some merch.